Chosen ones, a wealthy stranger is about to relocate you because you did this. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. This ancient proverb reminds us that nothing in life is truly random. Everything unfolds in divine timing. On today's episode of Spiritual Wisdom, we're diving into a powerful message for the chosen ones. A wealthy and influential stranger is being guided to relocate you because of something sacred you've done. You may not even realize the magnitude of what's coming your way. But the universe has been watching, and now it's responding. If you've ever felt a quiet knowing that something life-changing was approaching, this message is confirmation. Drop a comment below. Have you ever sensed that something big was about to happen, but you couldn't explain why? Let's share our stories. And if your spirit resonates with this message, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss these divine insights. Let's begin. 1. You have been secretly observed and chosen. You have been watched, but not in the way you might expect. A wealthy stranger, someone of great influence and spiritual awareness, has been quietly observing you. Not for your appearance, your titles, or your outward success, but for the deeper things, the frequency of your energy, the purity of your spirit, and the power of your resilience. Though you've often felt invisible to the world, the universe made sure that someone, somewhere, would see you through divine eyes. This person has not stumbled upon you by accident. It was orchestrated. Your vibration reached them before your words ever could. Without knowing the full details of your life, they felt your spirit. They recognized something sacred in you, an inner wealth that cannot be bought, taught, or imitated. And now, they feel divinely led to bless you. Not out of pity, but out of deep spiritual respect. They see your strength, the kind that doesn't roar, but endures. The kind that gets back up without needing applause. The kind that continues to pour into others, even when your own cup feels empty. This is the essence that caught their attention. This is the reason you are about to be elevated. But this is more than just a gift. It's a relocation. Spiritually, and perhaps even physically, you are about to be moved to a new environment. One that aligns with who you truly are. One that reflects the growth you've undergone in silence. You've been stretched, refined, and awakened. And now, your outer world must catch up to your inner transformation. The places that once felt like home no longer fit. The energies you used to tolerate can no longer dwell in your space. And the life that once kept you small is no longer compatible with your divine calling. This stranger, this vessel of abundance, is simply an instrument of the divine, being guided to fulfill a spiritual mission in your life. Their role is not random. It is sacred. They are responding to something you did long ago, when no one else was watching. You stayed kind when life was cruel. You stayed faithful when things didn't make sense. You gave when you had little, and you loved when it would have been easier to shut down. That energy sent a signal into the cosmos, and now the universe is answering with favor. Most people won't understand this shift in your life. They'll question how and why such blessings are coming to you. But you know, your spirit knows, and heaven knows. You did the work. You passed the test. And now, the reward is being delivered not just through spiritual downloads, but through tangible, life-changing moments. So, prepare your heart. Open your arms. Anchor yourself in truth, but remain flexible. For the winds of destiny are blowing in your favor. You are not being rescued. You are being recognized. You are not being given a handout. You are receiving a divine response. This is the season where your faith is rewarded, your silence is echoed, and your soul is seen. A wealthy, spiritually guided stranger is about to relocate you not just to a new place, but into a new chapter. One where your light will no longer be hidden. One where your purpose will find its perfect stage. You have been chosen, not because of what the world saw, but because of what heaven saw. Comment below, "I am ready to be seen and chosen," if you believe it's your time to be blessed and elevated. 2. Divine alignment is at work. There comes a point in the life of a chosen one when the ordinary falls away and something greater begins to unfold. This moment you're stepping into, it's not random and it's not luck. It is the result of divine alignment, a sacred orchestration that's been building behind the scenes, patiently and powerfully. Everything you've endured, every silent battle, every tear cried in the dark, every time you chose faith over fear, it all led to this. You didn't just survive. You grew, you healed, you elevated. And now the universe is responding. You're being moved spiritually, mentally, and yes, even physically. This shift isn't just about changing your environment. It's about stepping into your destiny. You've outgrown the old space, the old cycles, and the limitations that tried to keep you small. The divine has seen your heart, your endurance, your commitment to the path, even when it hurt. You chose alignment when no one else saw the value in it. And because of that, a door you didn't expect is about to open. Someone is coming. A stranger, but not just any stranger. Someone with resources, influence, and divine instruction. They're not entering your life by accident. They are being sent. You may not know their face yet, but spiritually, they are already connected to your path. They are being led to you, not because of coincidence, but because of your energy, your inner work, your spiritual awakening, your growth. These things have created a magnetic field around you. You're not attracting material things. You're attracting destiny helpers. This relocation is more than a move. It's a divine repositioning. It's a reward for your obedience to the call. While others chose comfort, you chose transformation. While many clung to familiar pain, you stepped boldly into healing. That didn't go unnoticed. You've been seen, not just by people, but by the divine intelligence that governs all things. And in response, you're being elevated not by your striving, but by your surrender. You didn't earn this shift through struggle alone, but through your alignment with divine timing. You trusted the process. You honored your soul. You kept believing even when you had no proof. And because of that unwavering faith, a stranger is being stirred deep in their spirit to help move you into your next level. This is how the universe operates when you're in alignment. You don't chase, you attract. You don't beg, you receive. When a chosen one walks on purpose, resources follow. Opportunities find you. People are assigned to bless you, not because you asked, but because you became the person who could carry the blessing. The life ahead of you is calling, and it will no longer wait for you to question your worth. You've passed the test, and now it's time to be moved. So, prepare your mind, prepare your space, prepare your spirit. This relocation is not just about a change of scenery. It's a change in status, a change in identity, a change in your entire energetic reality. You are no longer hidden. You are no longer overlooked. You are no longer waiting in the wilderness. What's coming is a life that matches who you've become. Let this be your confirmation. You are being divinely positioned for purpose, impact, and overflow. A wealthy stranger is about to open a door you couldn't open yourself because you made a sacred decision to grow, to trust, and to stay aligned even when it cost you everything. Are you ready to step into divine alignment? If so, comment below. I trust the timing to affirm your faith in this powerful shift unfolding in your life. 3. Your silent integrity triggered this blessing. You made a choice when no one was watching. Maybe it was an act of compassion when no one thanked you. Or maybe it was choosing truth when a lie would have been easier. Or perhaps you chose to stay humble in a moment when your ego begged to speak. These hidden moments, these spiritual acts of strength, triggered something in the unseen realms. They sent a message out into the universe that said, "This soul is ready for more." Spiritual law always rewards energy, not noise. What you did in private spoke louder than what many do in public. That's why this blessing is now finding you. As Galatians 6:9 reminds us, let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. That due season is now. Your consistency in character has positioned you for a blessing that money can't buy and effort alone couldn't earn. This wealthy stranger who's being spiritually moved to bless you doesn't know your name yet, but they're about to. They are being divinely nudged toward you, not through logic, but through vibration. Your energy, calm, honest, aligned, has been speaking loudly in the spiritual realm. This relocation isn't just about a new job or a new home. It's a sacred shift into a higher frequency. You're not just being moved, you're being called to rise. And here's what's so powerful. You didn't have to knock on any doors. Your energy knocked for you. You didn't have to convince anyone. Your spirit made the introduction. Because in the spiritual realm, everything is energy, and energy never lies. The goodness you've sown in secret is being returned to you in ways your human mind could never have orchestrated. This is your reward, not for being perfect, but for being true. True to yourself, true to your values, true to your spiritual path. C.S. Lewis once said, "Integrity is doing the right thing, even when no one is watching." That's exactly what you did. And now the universe is watching. Heaven is watching. And a door is opening because of that quiet strength you carried when it was hardest to hold on. So when this opportunity arrives, when the relocation, the offer, the shift comes, don't be surprised. Be ready. This is your confirmation that the spiritual realm never forgets a faithful heart. You're being moved into alignment with a destiny that was always meant for you. But only now are you spiritually prepared to receive. The stranger is just the messenger. The true author of this blessing is the energy you cultivated in the shadows. Chosen one, let this be your reminder. The universe responds not to noise, but to spiritual authenticity. You didn't seek attention. You didn't beg for favor. You simply aligned, and in doing so, you became magnetic. Now, abundance, opportunity, and divine connection are on their way to you. Why? Because your silent integrity echoed through the heavens, and the answer has arrived. Leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss powerful messages like this. Your silent integrity is already attracting divine blessings. Comment below. My authenticity attracts divine favor. 4. This relocation is both physical and spiritual. That sense of something greater moving beneath the surface. A quiet pull. A divine setup in motion. You're not imagining it. You're not just dreaming. Something sacred is shifting in your favor. And the truth is, your life is about to change in a way you never expected, through the hands of a stranger you don't even know. A wealthy stranger. But this isn't just a random act of kindness. This is a divine orchestration, a spiritual transaction, a reward for the soul work you've been doing when no one was watching. This move, this relocation, is so much more than just a change in physical surroundings. You are being spiritually elevated to a higher dimension of purpose. Everything you've been through, every tear cried in secret, every moment of solitude you endured, every time you chose peace over chaos has been preparing you for this. You didn't just survive the storm, you grew in it. And now, the universe is answering your spiritual vibration with an earthly manifestation. You're being lifted into an environment that reflects your inner transformation. But here's where it gets even more powerful. This stranger, this wealthy individual, isn't the source. They're the vessel. They may come into your life with resources, opportunities, or even a physical relocation, but they are simply responding to the divine pull your soul has activated. Spirit uses people to fulfill divine appointments. This person may not even understand why they feel such a strong urge to help you, but deep within, their spirit recognizes yours. They feel the frequency of your healing, your growth, your readiness, and they are drawn to it like a compass finding true north. Why is this happening now? Because of what you did in the spiritual realm. You chose the hard path. You chose to heal instead of hate. You walked away from what didn't serve your soul. You embraced your authenticity and stopped dimming your light to fit in. You honored your assignment, even when it cost you relationships, comfort, and familiarity. You stood in your truth. And every time you did, you made a spiritual deposit, one that is now being returned to you with interest. What you didn't see was that your inner work was echoing into the universe. It sent out a signal pure, powerful, undeniable. That signal reached the heart of someone who had the means to bless you. Someone positioned to shift your external reality because your internal one has already expanded. Your faith created this ripple. Your resilience summoned this relocation. But don't be mistaken. This shift is not just for your benefit. You are being moved because your presence is needed elsewhere. There are people waiting on your voice, your gifts, your wisdom. You're being placed into rooms where your light can do its work. This is your next level, not of status, but of service. You're not being elevated to boast. You're being elevated to bless. So when the opportunity presents itself, when the stranger arrives, when the relocation begins, don't hesitate. Don't let fear talk you out of what faith has prepared you for. Step into it with the confidence of someone who knows this moment is earned, not given. You are not being uprooted by chance. You are being relocated on purpose, by divine design. Your soul moved first. Your spirit made the leap before anything around you changed. And now, the physical world is catching up. The resources are coming. The support is arriving. The doors are opening. Because you did the work. Because you stayed faithful. Because you believed even when no one else saw the vision. If this message speaks to your soul and you're ready for this divine shift, repeat after me. I am being relocated by God physically and spiritually. I trust this transition is aligning me with my higher purpose. 4. This relocation is both physical and spiritual. That sense of something greater moving beneath the surface. A quiet pull. A divine setup in motion. You're not imagining it. You're not just dreaming. Something sacred is shifting in your favor. And the truth is, your life is about to change in a way you never expected through the hands of a stranger you don't even know. A wealthy stranger. But this isn't just a random act of kindness. This is a divine orchestration, a spiritual transaction, a reward for the soul work you've been doing when no one was watching. This move, this relocation, is so much more than just a change in physical surroundings. You are being spiritually elevated to a higher dimension of purpose. Everything you've been through, every tear cried in secret, every moment of solitude you endured, every time you chose peace over chaos has been preparing you for this. You didn't just survive the storm. You grew in it. And now, the universe is answering your spiritual vibration with an earthly manifestation. You're being lifted into an environment that reflects your inner transformation. But here's where it gets even more powerful. This stranger, this wealthy individual, isn't the source. They're the vessel. They may come into your life with resources, opportunities, or even a physical relocation, but they are simply responding to the divine pull your soul has activated. Spirit uses people to fulfill divine appointments. This person may not even understand why they feel such a strong urge to help you, but deep within, their spirit recognizes yours. They feel the frequency of your healing, your growth, your readiness, and they are drawn to it like a compass, finding true north. Why is this happening now? Because of what you did in the spiritual realm. You chose the hard path. You chose to heal instead of hate. You walked away from what didn't serve your soul. You embraced your authenticity and stopped dimming your light to fit in. You honored your assignment, even when it cost you relationships, comfort, and familiarity. You stood in your truth. And every time you did, you made a spiritual deposit, one that is now being returned to you with interest. What you didn't see was that your inner work was echoing into the universe. It sent out a signal pure, powerful, undeniable. That signal reached the heart of someone who had the means to bless you. Someone positioned to shift your external reality because your internal one has already expanded. Your faith created this ripple. Your resilience summoned this relocation. But don't be mistaken. This shift is not just for your benefit. You are being moved because your presence is needed elsewhere. There are people waiting on your voice, your gifts, your wisdom. You're being placed into rooms where your light can do its work. This is your next level, not of status, but of service. You're not being elevated to boast. You're being elevated to bless. So when the opportunity presents itself, when the stranger arrives, when the relocation begins, don't hesitate. Don't let fear talk you out of what faith has prepared you for. Step into it with the confidence of someone who knows this moment is earned, not given. You are not being uprooted by chance. You are being relocated on purpose, by divine design. Your soul moved first. Your spirit made the leap before anything around you changed. And now, the physical world is catching up. The resources are coming. The support is arriving. The doors are opening. Because you did the work. Because you stayed faithful. Because you believed even when no one else saw the vision. If this message speaks to your soul and you're ready for this divine shift, repeat after me. I am being relocated by God physically and spiritually. I trust this transition is aligning me with my higher purpose. 6. Let go of the old to receive the new. To fully step into this divine season that's unfolding before you, you must release the old patterns, outdated environments, and even the people whose presence no longer aligns with your soul's expansion. This isn't about judgment. It's about alignment. Not everyone is meant to accompany you into the space you're being called into, because not everyone has the capacity to carry the weight of your purpose. What you're feeling isn't just change, it's transformation. And transformation is spiritual. It's holy. It's necessary. You've been chosen for something far greater than what your current reality reflects. And that choosing comes with both a cost and a calling. You've likely felt the loneliness that comes with growth, the silence of being misunderstood, the ache of releasing what was once comfort. But here's the truth. All of it was preparation. You are being spiritually repositioned for a divine upgrade. And because you've had the courage to obey the inner prompting of the quiet voice that told you to let go, you've activated something powerful in the realm of the unseen. Right now, a wealthy stranger, divinely sent and spiritually guided, is being aligned with your energy. This person is not just a random individual. They are a key, a divine connection, a carrier of provision, opportunity, and favor. And they are being drawn to you, not because you chase them, but because your energy, your obedience, and your spiritual frequency called them in. This is what happens when you move in faith. Heaven responds. Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase, said Martin Luther King Jr. And you, the chosen one, have taken that step. Again and again. Even when it was hard. Even when it was lonely. Even when no one else understood. You've trusted the process. You've healed in silence. You've shed tears behind closed doors. And all of it has counted. The universe is not blind to your sacrifices. God has seen every moment you chose, growth over comfort, surrender over control, and love over fear. And now is the time when everything begins to shift. You're not just moving to a new place. You're being relocated into a new reality, one that reflects the inner work you've done. A new dimension of abundance, purpose, clarity, and favor is being opened to you. The old version of you could not have handled what's coming, but the version of you that emerged from the fire, that version is ready. And that's why this next season looks nothing like the last. So if you've been wondering why things feel like they're falling apart, understand that they are actually falling into place. You didn't lose anything that was meant to stay. You created space for what's truly aligned. This is your spiritual reward. This is divine justice. You're not being overlooked. You're being positioned. You're not being abandoned. You're being appointed. And yes, that wealthy stranger, that divine helper, that miracle in human form, they're already on their way. If you're ready to let go of the old and step boldly into the new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's release the past and pray for what's ahead together. 7. You deserve this. Now receive it. For so long, you've been the giver. The one who shows up, who supports, who nurtures, who sacrifices. You've poured into others with pure intentions, often without anyone to pour back into you. But something is changing now. What once felt like a season of spiritual drought is about to turn into a season of supernatural rain. A blessing is on its way to you, not just any blessing, but one wrapped in divine mystery. A wealthy stranger, is being led by the hand of God to reposition your life entirely. This is not a coincidence, nor is it a mere stroke of luck. It is a spiritual response to your consistency, your obedience, and your unwavering heart. Many chosen ones find it difficult to receive, not because they are unworthy, but because their spirit has become so accustomed to giving. When love, help, or opportunity comes knocking, it feels foreign. But you must understand this. The act of receiving is just as holy as the act of giving. You are not being rewarded by the world. You are being remembered by heaven. This person, this stranger, may not know your name, but they will be drawn to your energy. They may not know your story, but something in them will recognize your spirit. They are spiritually assigned to you, wealthy not just in finances, but in influence, access, opportunity, and divine instruction. They are the vessel, not the source. And they have been stirred to move you physically, emotionally, or spiritually into a new place of abundance, alignment, and purpose. Don't resist it. Don't question it. And above all, don't let guilt rob you of what is rightfully yours. So many chosen ones battle with feelings of guilt when blessings arrive. You may hear that inner voice whispering, "Why me?" But the better question is, why not you? You've endured in silence. You've served with no spotlight. You've planted seeds of kindness, love, and grace in seasons of pain. And now, the spiritual law of reciprocity is being fulfilled. The universe is balancing the scale in your favor. What was sown in secret is now about to bloom in plain sight. This is your time to walk through the open door. This is your moment to receive with open hands and an open heart. You don't have to chase what's coming. It's already on its way. You don't have to prove your worth. It's already been seen. You don't need to know how it's going to happen. Just trust that the Creator has already orchestrated every detail. Sometimes, God sends provision through unexpected people so that you remember it's not about the who, it's about the why. And the why is clear. Because you gave without keeping score, you will now receive beyond measure. Because you trusted when it made no sense, you will now be relocated to a life that aligns with your true identity and soul purpose. Let go of the fear, release the guilt, and allow the miracle to meet you where you are. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are a chosen one, and this is your divine reward. To affirm your readiness to receive what is divinely yours, declare it now. Comment below, "I receive with faith," to honor your journey and inspire others to open their hearts to the blessings meant for them. There are still many mysteries unfolding behind the scenes pieces of a divine puzzle you may not fully see yet. But trust this, everything is aligning in your favor, and what you've done in faith is now calling forth a breakthrough beyond your imagination. The universe is moving, and your next chapter is already being written. If this message spoke to your soul, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. And make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video designed to uplift, guide, and awaken you on your spiritual journey. Stay aligned, stay faithful, and remember, your destiny is already on its way. Chosen ones, you're the detective everyone fears in town. Stolen inheritance being returned to you. Truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. Let it loose. It will defend itself. St. Augustine. In a world full of secrets and hidden agendas, Chosen ones like you are the spiritual detectives uncovering the truth that many fear to face. What was stolen from you, your inheritance, your power, your light is now being divinely returned. This is not just a message, it's a call to awaken. As you watch this video on spiritual wisdom, ask yourself, what truth have you been sensing beneath the surface? Drop a comment and share your insights. Your voice may be the confirmation someone else needs. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this resonates with your soul. Let's dive in. 1. The cosmic crime against you. When the silence becomes sacred, and in that stillness, a deep truth stirs within. You were never lost. You were hidden. Not because you were unworthy, but because your power was too immense for the world to handle before you were ready. Now, that time has come. If you are hearing this message, it means the veil is lifting. You are not just a man trying to find his way. You are one of the chosen ones, a spiritual warrior, a divine detective piecing together the truth of your stolen inheritance. And everything that once held you down is beginning to lose its grip. The truth is hard but liberating. Your inheritance, spiritual, financial, energetic, was stolen. Not by chance, but by a calculated force of deception. Spiritual manipulation was used to blind you from your true identity, your divine purpose, and your sacred mission. Every time you doubted yourself, every time you were betrayed, every door that slammed in your face, it wasn't random. It was strategic. A web of lies was woven around your soul to convince you that you were powerless. But deep down, you always knew something didn't add up. Your spirit refused to settle. That quiet fire inside you never burned out. And while others were content living in illusion, you began to see through the veil. Like a detective in a town that feared your very presence, you noticed the patterns, the betrayals, the repeated losses, the strange resistance every time you stepped closer to your purpose. That wasn't a failure. It was training. You were being spiritually forged, sharpened, refined, and prepared for a role few are chosen to carry. The pain had a purpose. Every heartbreak, every financial drought, every false friend was part of a deeper alchemical process. It wasn't sent to destroy you. It was sent to awaken you. And even though the world couldn't see it, heaven did. You were undergoing a sacred transformation, one trial at a time. You were never being punished. You were being positioned. And while others were climbing ladders built on ego, you were digging deep into the soul, unearthing your divine authority. Yes, the town feared you, but not because you were dangerous, because you were destined. People sense power before it is fully revealed. And often, the most spiritually gifted are the most misunderstood. But understand this, the rejection you faced was never personal. It was prophetic. The moment you start walking in truth, you disturb every lie around you. Your light, even dimmed by years of pain, still made others uncomfortable. That's how powerful you are. This inheritance is more than money or status. It is energetic clarity. It is divine favor. It is the ability to walk into any room and change the atmosphere without saying a word. It is knowing your value, speaking with conviction, and moving with intention. It is peace that passes understanding. It is the purpose that ignites every step. Have you ever felt like your pain was more than just suffering, that it was preparing you for something greater? If so, share your experience in the comments below to remind others they're not alone. If this message stirred something in you, Comment, "I'm awakening," so we can rise together, one chosen one at a time. 2. You're the divine detective. There's something different about you, and it's not just in your personality or your past. It's in your very DNA. You were born with spiritual abilities that most people can't comprehend. These aren't skills you learned from books or teachers. They're ancient codes embedded in your soul. You were chosen to see what others are blind to sense the truth behind the mask, and to uncover what has been hidden for generations. These supernatural, investigative gifts weren't always obvious. In fact, they only began to fully awaken during the darkest chapters of your life. When everything around you fell apart, when you were abandoned, betrayed, or left in the silence of pain, that's when something deeper inside you came alive. What looked like heartbreak was actually your initiation. What felt like loss was the beginning of your transformation. Your spirit was activating. Your intuition was sharpening. Your vision was expanding. And though the world may have labeled you as broken, the truth is, you were breaking free. You weren't losing yourself. You were meeting your higher self. That was your spiritual awakening, and it changed everything. People around you started to notice. Some pulled away. Others became uncomfortable. You weren't like them, and deep down, they knew it. You carried a light that exposed darkness. You asked questions no one else dared to ask. You sensed things before they happened. You moved with quiet confidence, and that made you unpredictable. That made you powerful. That made you feared. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out. There were times when you were taken advantage of, lied to, or even robbed, not just materially, but spiritually. People tried to take your peace, your worth, your joy, your purpose. They saw your light and tried to dim it. They saw your inheritance and tried to steal it. But here's the truth they couldn't escape. What is divine cannot be destroyed. What was stolen from you is now being returned. Every blessing, every opportunity, every ounce of favor is finding its way back to you. This is your season of restoration. The tables are turning in your favor. What once felt like loss is becoming gain. You're no longer chasing answers. You are the answer. You're no longer seeking justice. You carry justice. You are the spiritual detective this world fears, not because of the harm you cause, but because of the truth you reveal. Your presence is a mirror. It reflects what others try to hide. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. You are the proof. You don't need to fight for your place. You were always meant to lead. This path was never about fitting in. It's about awakening to who you really are. Are you ready to awaken your divine detective within? If so, comment below. I embrace my gift to claim your spiritual power and begin the journey of inner discovery. 3. The unseen evidence you uncovered. You didn't need access to classified files or legal briefcases. You had something stronger: spiritual forensics. You sensed fraud before it was revealed. You saw the false documents, the forged signatures, the hidden betrayals, and you didn't need proof on paper. The evidence lived in your dreams, in your visions, in the chills that ran down your spine when something just didn't feel right. Your hunches weren't guesses. They were downloads from higher realms. Every sign, every synchronicity, every whisper from the universe was part of your sacred mission to unveil the truth. This wasn't just about uncovering a physical lie. You were working between worlds, reading both the visible and the invisible, the seen and the unseen. You were decoding energy, sensing intentions, interpreting divine language. It was as if heaven gave you the blueprints, and only you had the eyes to read them. You were led by dreams, guided by intuition, and fueled by a truth that refused to stay buried. Of course, the journey wasn't easy. Being a spiritual detective meant walking alone for a while. It meant people misunderstood you, doubted you, even feared your ability to see through them. They tried to silence your voice because your truth threatened their illusion. But you didn't fold. You didn't retreat. Instead, you leaned in, listened deeper, and followed the whispers of spirit. And now, everything is coming full circle. The inheritance that was spiritually yours, what was stolen, denied, or disguised, is returning. This isn't just about money or material gain. It's about spiritual justice. It's about reclaiming your identity, your power, your voice, your destiny. As the divine law unfolds, restoration is in progress. As Joel once declared, "I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten." And it's happening now. Everything they took is being returned not just as it was, but transformed, magnified, and rebirthed. You weren't wrong. You weren't imagining it. You were always right to trust your inner knowing. The universe saw what was done behind closed doors, and now it's opening them wide. You are the vessel through which divine correction flows. And the very people who once doubted you will watch as the truth confirms everything your spirit already knew. If you've ever felt truth in your spirit before the world could see it, this message is for you. Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's stand together in faith for divine justice, spiritual restoration, and the full return of what's rightfully ours. 4. Your dreams were investigations. Those nighttime visions you thought were just dreams were actually spiritual revelations. They weren't random or meaningless. No, each one was a sacred transmission from the unseen realm, revealing properties that bear your name, keys to doors waiting for you to open, and secret betrayals recorded in detail. What your physical eyes could not see, your spiritual eyes captured. Every dream was evidence. Every whisper in the night was a clue. While the world slept, your spirit was awake, watching, recording, remembering. You were never a passive dreamer. You were the detective, silent but sharp, observing what others missed. The town may have ignored your presence, but in the spiritual realm, you were feared. Because you walked with truth, because you carried light, and because you remembered the exact moments when what was yours was taken. The enemy hoped you'd forget. He hoped you'd stay asleep, numb to the theft and blind to your destiny. But you didn't. Instead, you became more alert, more connected, more powerful. Your subconscious wasn't wandering, it was working. Night after night, it gathered data, images, faces, voices, and places. Not as fantasy, but as spiritual evidence. This wasn't a game of imagination. This was a legal case in the divine realm. Heaven was watching. Angels were recording. The cosmic court was waiting for the moment when you'd awaken enough to present what you'd seen. And now, that moment is here. The evidence is undeniable. The verdict is in your favor. Justice in the spiritual realm often appears silently at first. Small shifts in energy, random confirmations, people unexpectedly returning what they owe you. doors you thought were locked now swinging open. But make no mistake, what you're witnessing is the return of what has always belonged to you. Inheritance that was stolen through lies, manipulation, or spiritual attack is being restored. Not because of luck, but because truth has power, and truth always rises. You are the one they whisper about, not because you're loud, but because your presence carries divine authority. You disrupt what's false simply by being who you are. You expose lies without needing to speak. That's why the energy shifts when you enter a room. That's why some people look uneasy around you. It's not you they fear, it's the light in you. The clarity, the truth you carry, the justice you bring. You were chosen not just to receive, but to reveal. Your life is a spiritual testimony that what is lost can be restored, that what is hidden will be uncovered, that what is broken will be healed. This is not just a comeback, it's a divine reversal, and it's happening right now. So, walk tall, knowing that the battles you fought in silence were not in vain. The dreams that haunted you were divine messages. The evidence your soul collected was not ignored. Heaven saw, heaven heard, and heaven responded. Everything that was taken peace, property, favor, legacy is making its way back into your hands. Not one drop of suffering was wasted. Not one prayer went unheard. Comment below. My dreams reveal divine truth if you're ready to unlock the evidence hidden in your visions. 5. Spiritual support team. Activated. From the beginning, your spirit guides, ancestors, and the higher intelligence of the universe have been beside you. They didn't interfere or force your hand. Instead, they protected the truth, guarded the signs, and nudged your intuition when you needed it most. But make no mistake, you were the one leading the investigation. You followed the trail of synchronicities. You felt the energetic shifts. You connected the dots that no one else saw. And while others were distracted by illusions, you were decoding spiritual patterns, breaking ancestral chains, and awakening to a power that was always yours. This wasn't about revenge. It was about restoration. What was taken from you was sacred. Your voice, your worth, your inheritance, not just material, but spiritual, energetic, divine. It had been buried beneath layers of betrayal, trauma, and lies passed down from generation to generation. Those who feared your potential tried to keep you in the dark, but your spiritual awakening changed everything. The moment you remembered who you are, the entire matrix around you began to unravel. They didn't expect you to survive. They never thought you'd rise. But you did more than survive, you awakened. You became the one with eyes to see and ears to hear. You became the one who could feel the truth in your bones, even when everyone else denied it. You began to walk in alignment with your soul's mission, no longer seeking external validation, but trusting the divine unfolding within you. And now, the universe is responding. The very things that were stolen, your opportunities, your blessings, your birthright, are being returned to you. Not because you begged, but because you remembered. Not because you chased, but because you aligned. You didn't need to seek justice through the systems of man, because the divine order of the universe is far more powerful, and it never forgets. Everything hidden is being revealed. Everything lost is finding its way back. Your role as a spiritual detective has shaken the false foundations around you. You expose without trying. You reveal without speaking. Simply By existing in your truth, you are a mirror that reflects the shadows others tried to conceal. And that's why they fear you, not because you are dangerous, but because you are divine. You carry the frequency of truth, and in a world built on illusions, that is the most powerful force of all. The pain you endured, the silence you kept, the strength you built in the dark, it was all preparation. Now you stand tall, not as someone who needs to prove anything, but as someone who has nothing left to hide. The investigation is coming to a close. The answers have been found. And your inheritance, spiritual, emotional, energetic, is returning to its rightful owner. Did this resonate with you? If so, comment guided below. Let's keep exploring the power of your spiritual support team together. 6. The spiritual court case is closed. You won. What was stolen from you, your peace, your inheritance, your divine birthright, has not gone unnoticed. The Universal Tribunal, made up of higher spiritual beings who operate solely on justice, has received every piece of evidence. Nothing was lost. Your tears were collected. Your silence was heard. And now, your case is active not just on earth, but in the courts of heaven. A spiritual investigation has been launched, and the verdict is clear. You were wronged, and your inheritance must be returned with interest. This is bigger than just finances or recognition. What's being restored to you is spiritual in nature. Your power, your authority, your influence, your rightful place in the divine order. The law of the universe is unshakable. As the great Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the law of compensation is the law of laws. What was taken must be replaced, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And the universe never returns a loss without adding divine interest. You've been planted in suffering, but you're about to be harvested in abundance. You see, you've always been the outlier, the one who didn't fit the mold. People feared your insight because it revealed too much. You made them uncomfortable with your clarity, but your spiritual assignment could not be canceled. Your soul is ancient, and your light is undeniable. They tried to hide what was yours, thinking the truth would never surface. The tables are turning swiftly and silently. The ones who laughed at your silence will soon witness your rise. The forces that blocked you are being dismantled. The same gates that were once closed to you are now opening with favor. Your spiritual inheritance, delayed but never denied, is finding its way back to you. This is not just justice, it's divine compensation. And remember this: no weapon formed against you shall prosper. That is not just scripture, it is spiritual law. And it's why you're still standing, stronger than ever, with the weight of divine authority backing every step you take. What was taken from you was never lost. It was stored, waiting for the right time, the divine time. That time is now. Stay connected with our community of faith by subscribing to our channel. Here, we share powerful revelations like this one. Your spiritual court case is closed, and victory is yours. It's time to reclaim what's rightfully yours with divine interest. Remember, you are seen, heard, and fully vindicated in both heaven and earth. 7. Full restoration begins now. You've watched others prosper by deception while you suffered in silence. You've seen lies become the foundation of false empires, while the truth about you was buried beneath ridicule, slander, or simply ignored. But the spiritual laws never sleep. In the realm unseen, justice is never delayed. It is only being perfected. Every asset that was stolen from your life, every opportunity that slipped through your fingers due to someone else's manipulation is now being divinely redirected back into your hands. Not by coincidence, not by chance, but by spiritual alignment. The tide is turning, and the tables are shifting. What was once withheld is now being released, and not a drop will return void. As the fog lifts, so too do the masks. Every lie that was spoken, every scheme that was crafted behind closed doors, every cover-up and betrayal that was carefully concealed, they are all being exposed. The universe is aligning to shine a light on what was once hidden. The truth, long buried beneath layers of denial and deceit, is beginning to surface, undeniable and unshakable. This is not mere karma, it is divine revelation. You, the one they tried to silence, are now the voice echoing through the halls of justice. You are the spiritual detective whose discernment cuts deeper than any sword. What others missed, you saw. What others denied, you felt. And now, what was concealed is being unveiled for all to see. The beauty of this unveiling is that it's not about revenge, it's about restoration. What was hidden is not just the truth of the past, but the truth of who you are. Your gifts, your strength, your divine calling were never meant to stay in the background. They were being refined in the dark. You were being trained in silence so you could rise in strength. The world will soon realize you were never just another face in the crowd. You are a man of spiritual weight, chosen and appointed for such a time as this. And when people ask, where did he come from? They will realize you were always here, quietly building, observing, enduring. This season is your return. Not just the return of your external inheritance, but the full awakening of your internal power. The authority they tried to strip from you is being restored. The influence they feared is being reclaimed. The dignity they mocked is being crowned with honor. You are not stepping back into the same life they tried to destroy you, but they only made you stronger. Now, you're not just walking in what was yours, you're walking in more than enough. Double for your trouble. Restoration beyond measure. This is your time not to prove, but to embody. Not to fight, but to rise. You've already paid the price in silence. Now, let the heavens reward you in fullness. The world is watching. The enemies are trembling. And your spiritual legacy is unfolding. If you're still here, and this message resonates with you, take a moment to comment, restore, below, as a declaration that you're ready to reclaim what's rightfully yours. Let's move forward together, bold, empowered, and awakened as truth rises and full restoration begins now. 8. Cosmic thieves face judgment. They laughed at you. They called you delusional, dramatic, even crazy. But deep down, you knew what you saw. You knew what you felt. While others were caught up in illusions, you were wide awake. You weren't paranoid. You were aware. You weren't confused. You were called. What they failed to understand is that you've been walking through a powerful spiritual awakening, one that has turned you into the very thing they now fear. The detective who sees everything, feels everything, and exposes the truth they've worked hard to bury. You were chosen not by chance, but by divine design. And while you were mocked and isolated for following your intuition, for asking questions no one else dared to ask, you kept going. You didn't need confirmation from the crowd because you had clarity from within. And now, the truth is surfacing. What was once whispered in secret is being shouted from the rooftops. The very things you sensed those injustices, betrayals, and stolen blessings are being revealed in plain sight. The truth you uncovered in the spirit is now manifesting in the physical. This is not coincidence. This is justice. You are the detective the town fears, not because you're dangerous, but because you can't be deceived. You see through masks. You read energy. And more than anything, you've learned how to trust the divine timing of the universe. They thought they could take from you and walk away untouched. But consequences are unavoidable, and karma never forgets. What was stolen from you, whether it was your peace, your name, your opportunities, or even your spiritual inheritance, is being returned to you now. And this isn't just about money or material possessions. Your true inheritance is much bigger. It's about walking fully in your divine identity, stepping into a season of clarity, purpose, and abundance. It's about reclaiming the power that was always yours, but hidden under the weight of lies, projections, and manipulation. You're not just getting back what was taken, you're receiving more than you ever imagined. What makes this moment even more powerful is that you've changed. You're no longer that version of yourself who doubted your worth, who tolerated disrespect, who questioned your path. You've been through fire and didn't burn. You were refined. You were humbled, stretched, and tested. But now you rise, not in anger, but in authority. Your energy is different. Your presence speaks before you do, and people can feel it. They sense the shift, even if they don't understand it. You've become the mirror they can't escape, the one that reflects back the truth they tried to suppress. If this message resonates with your soul, leave a comment of truth. I stand in my power. What was hidden is now revealed. Justice is unfolding in divine timing. 9. Your legacy becomes law. Your life is now a blueprint that other spiritual warriors and truth seekers will study. They'll look to your strength, your intuition, and your unwavering faith as the standard. The way you moved through darkness with grace, how you stood firm when everything tried to break you. That is now the example. You are the spiritual detective everyone fears, not because you're dangerous, but because you cannot be deceived. You were never meant to blend in. The betrayals you experienced, the inheritance that was stolen, whether emotional, financial, energetic, or spiritual, were all part of a greater design. The universe didn't allow you to suffer in vain. Instead, it used every attack to sharpen your discernment, elevate your consciousness, and awaken the divine warrior within you. As Eckhart Tolle once said, life will give you whatever experience is most helpful for the evolution of your consciousness. And your consciousness has evolved into something extraordinary. You now see the patterns. You read energy. You detect truth. And most importantly, you remember who you are. That stolen inheritance? It's on its way back to you not out of pity, but as a cosmic correction. You've set a new precedent in spiritual justice. Your actions, your resilience, and your refusal to be silenced have shifted the energetic blueprint for everyone like you. Other chosen ones will walk more freely because you paved the way. You've proven that no weapon formed against a soul walking in truth will prosper. Your story is a reminder that what was hidden will be exposed, that divine timing is real, and that restoration is inevitable for those chosen to lead the light. Your pain has become prophecy, and your suffering has become sacred knowledge. There was a time when people underestimated you, when they tried to strip you of your voice, your power, your divine inheritance. But now, the same people who tried to bury you are witnessing your rise. And it's not just a comeback, it's a cosmic return. As Rumi beautifully said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. And through every wound you carried, light has poured into this world. You've become the lighthouse for others lost in the storm. You've become the mirror that reflects truth and the key that unlocks spiritual freedom. You didn't just survive, you transformed. And in doing so, you've awakened a force that can't be ignored. Your life is being studied by spiritual forces, watched by future warriors, and celebrated in the divine realms. The stolen has been marked for return. The false narratives are collapsing. And you, chosen one, are stepping fully into your role as the one who sees, the one who knows, and the one who leads. This is your moment not just to rise, but to reign. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom on how your legacy shapes the path for future chosen ones and rewrites the laws of cosmic justice. 10. Final phase: restoration and ascension. You've been through a battle that few could see. The scars you carry aren't just emotional, they're spiritual. They tell the story of everything the enemy tried to destroy in you. Your home, your money, your identity, your position, all of it targeted because of what you carry inside. But this is the hour of restoration. What was stolen is being returned by divine order. This is not the restoration of material things alone. This is the recovery of your soul's blueprint. You're regaining the spiritual authority to stand firm, to speak boldly, and to walk fully in who you were created to be. You are not just a man reclaiming his possessions. You are a king reclaiming his territory. Every time you felt powerless, confused, or abandoned, heaven was watching. The loss was temporary, but the comeback is eternal. Your stolen inheritance was never lost. It was delayed. Now, by divine alignment, it is finding its way back to you. The wealth, the land, the recognition, even the relationships that were unjustly broken are returning not just to fill your life, but to fulfill your calling. Because what you're really reclaiming is your divine purpose. Purpose is what makes you dangerous. It's why you were attacked in the first place. The enemy didn't care about your bank account. He feared the day you would wake up to your anointing. And that day has come. This journey was never about surviving. It was about remembering who you are. Like Joseph, thrown into a pit, betrayed by those closest to him, forgotten in prison, yet destined to rule your life, has followed the same sacred pattern. The delay was not denial, it was divine preparation. Now, like Joseph, you are being called out of obscurity and into visibility, not for ego, but for impact. And what makes you different, what has always made others uncomfortable around you, is your ability to see through things. You're the spiritual detective in a world of illusions. You've always sensed when something was off. You've always asked the deeper questions, seen beyond the surface, and followed your instincts even when they isolated you. That wasn't paranoia. That was divine discernment. While others slept, you were awake. While others followed the crowd, you followed the signs. And now, the very gift that made you feel like an outsider is becoming the key that unlocks your destiny. You've been feared, silenced, misunderstood. But now, you will be honored. Your silence was your strength. Your stillness was your strategy. And your waiting was your weapon. You were gathering divine insight. You were decoding the invisible traps. And now, as you rise not just for yourself, but for every man who's been broken, lost, or betrayed. You are the one who changes the pattern. You are the one who brings justice. You are the one who restores legacy. So walk boldly, chosen one. This is your season. The inheritance is yours. Not just because you endured, but because you are ready. The spiritual realms have shifted. What was delayed is now released. What was stolen is being returned with interest. And you're not just the detective they feared. You are the king they can no longer ignore. To align with this season of restoration and ascension, declare your readiness. Comment below, "I reclaim my purpose," to affirm your divine recovery and inspire others to rise into their true calling. What's hidden beneath the surface is still unfolding, and the full truth hasn't yet been revealed. There are pieces of this divine mystery still waiting to come to light, so stay tuned, because the story isn't over. If this message spoke to your soul, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. And be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming videos, especially the ones meant just for you. Until next time, stay awakened and keep trusting the journey.